Hi, Chris here again, and today we're going to talk about pentatonic. We're going to go to the land of five and focus in on the pentatonic, which is fundamental to, for example, blues music. Makes heavy use of pentatonic scale. You find it also a lot in jazz, popular music. It's all over the shed, really, pentatonic. Pentatonic, the word is possibly a bit technical. It just means penta, five, tonic, notes, really, scale of 5 notes. And we're going to play, I've got a track which we're going to use to help us along with this, which is in the key of G. So the pentatonic scale that we're going to be working with is going to sound kind of like this. Okay, I just play that again. So it's like I've got a G, B flat, C, D, F, G. And then we can keep going. B flat, C, D, so. So the scale tones are, of course, all over the fretboard. So just to once again distinguish between the scale tones, which are the actual sort of notes regardless of where they appear, and the scale I think of as being in one position. Depends how you think of it, you know. And so our job really with pentatonic is to, well, we've got to understand what pentatonic is, the 5-note scale. We've got to understand what are the notes in this pentatonic scale, which I'll just go over that again. G, B flat, C, D, F, G. And you could reasonably sort of practice a few times just going up and down the scale till you get yourself totally comfortable on the scale, on the scale tones, and just, you know, you can stay in first position in this position to begin with, and. So having understood the pentatonic scale, and being aware of the note choices that we can make for pentatonic in this G, kind of G blues, G dominant, G minor, however you want to think of it, we're then into the business of making phrases, because as we have said before, nobody really wants to sit and listen to you playing the scale, playing any kind of scale. So the task and the way that we employ this and turn this into making music is, as we've seen before, is by creating phrases. So we can initially, I think, probably best to think in terms of very simple phrases. So we could think of something like something like that. So just playing F and G. Turn it round. Okay, so usually I think you're probably going to find most of the time people want to use more than 2 notes, but yeah, I mean, people, there's of course the famous 1-note samba, which some of you might be familiar with. I don't think that actually just has 1 note in it, but so we can do some more of that. We can go. And then we can kind of put those 2 things together. Ba 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 da 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 da. Yeah, and you can probably hear from that, you know, a lot of if you think you know, go back to listening to some early blues, John Mayall's Blues Breakers and all that kind of stuff, you know, Mick Taylor again, you know, all these great guys, great guitar players, who were sort of heavily into, you know, sort of creating this sort of riff-based music, very often making heavy use of pentatonic sounds. Okay, so let's just do a little demo, and let's run the track. And what I'm going to try and do is play some, invent and play some pentatonic phrases over the track, and so hopefully you'll be able to hear the kind of thing we're going for. And we can just refer again to the sort of call and response type vibe, which is, you know, which is like which we find very frequently. So we can go sort of go. As before, there's nothing to, you know, you don't have to restrict ourselves solely to the notes of the pentatonic. We can add chromatic. We can add other notes. depending on whether you want things to like drift in a slightly more jazzy direction, or whether you want to be, kind of more purist. Again, thinking about sort of blues breakers, John Mayall, there's not so much of the jazzy sort of tones in there. It tends to be more, I would suggest, more sort of purely pentatonic in that style of music, more kind of rootsy, I suppose. But obviously you can do whatever you like, but you've got the your knowledge of pentatonic and your ability to create music over the pentatonic with the pentatonic form. So yeah, and so on, and so what we're aiming to do is get to the point where we're very comfortable with pentatonic scale. We're comfortable with adding variations, adding extra interest with different notes, accidentals, and so on and so forth. And we're able to hopefully able to use all of it to create a performance for the solo guitar, which is really engaging and involving and interesting and fun to listen to for the listener. That's what we're trying to get to. So I hope I hope that's interesting. Pentatonic is really extremely simple. It's the kind of thing that I guess a lot of people start when they start playing guitar, or if they're interested in blues. It's not going to be very long before they discover pentatonic and playing pentatonic sort of material. So I'll just fade out now on the track, and thanks for listening to this discussion and demo about playing pentatonic scale over G, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.